Yeah, there I was. With some degree of confidence that this engine would start, you know. So enough to turn the radio off, let's say. But to tell you about the engine, it's a accumulation of three of them, the best parts of them. I use the original rings and piston. It would benefit with a new set of rings, which is easily done by just taking the rod cap loose, snatching that piston out of there, put your rings on there and put it back in there and you're good to go. Don't even have to take the head off. But with some degree of confidence, you know, had the all part, put timing gears back together. And if you know about these, originally these engines was not, the timing gears had no, the timing gears didn't have no marks on them. But they were, the company knew that, so they made a addition in their catalog, in their instruction book. They made a they noted it in their book so that you could mark it before you took it apart. And most people didn't do that. So, and that was a case on this one, to the point that there were actually too many marks, you know. You have to have one of them skinny. You have to have one of them skinny half-inch wrenches to get up in there and lock them two governor springs together right there. Just pulling that out, just rest, go ahead and lay them in. But what's 7/16? We'll get back to this engine. But I'm still a little negative. I'm short on a consistent spark. Something ain't just 100% right on the on it. But this is not the project for today. It being propped up over flywheels there, gas tank as removed. You know, it's been patched before. In a real world, totally useless now. You know, the time to attempt to fix it and the results that you'll end up with is not warranted. So, you know, any idea to restore this engine, you're gonna need a gas tank. I've got one. I don't have to buy a gas tank for this engine. We have one laid on the shelf. As the fuel lines, exhaust system, you know. But this is not the project for today. Now let's get on with that. Okay, it's not a problem. It's just the next step at hand is to drill a hole somewhere close to the center on this piece of metal right here. So I'm gonna clamp it in this It's on some blocks right there. There's 1 inch tall and all. That's supposedly to be 4x4. And I put it in there with them original sides. That was a big long strip, about 20 foot long at one time, cut 4 inches long. So I've got it in there, mill run, let's call it, with the cut ends on each end. And I need to drill a hole in the center of it. So I'm gonna tighten up this vise right here. With the I'm gonna show you something. Okay, right back here at the back, I had my finger right there, and I could tell that the end of this piece of metal right here was flush with that vice jaw. So now I have a position on this table that I can refer to at ever how many more pieces of this that I should do. So I'm gonna lock it. That vice right there is done already. It's done already tight. So what I'm gonna do, that's one of them 1, 2, 3, 4 block things right there, and I'm gonna put it back there against that vice jaw, and I'm gonna draw this pencil line across here, like that. Oh yeah, I can see it. And then I'm gonna put over here on this side over here, and I'm gonna draw that pencil line over yonder on the back side of that. Okay, y'all see that? Now it looks just like one. It looks like one line with a shiny place right in the center of it. So we pretty much know that's the center of that piece of metal between these vice jaws is what we're trying to establish. So, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my finger right there. You know what I mean? If something ain't straight, I think I can feel it. So I'm gonna put this block on that piece of metal down there, and I'm gonna put it down right like that, and I'm gonna feel right down through yonder. Okay, I mean you can put a gauge on that if you want to, but that's even, let's call it. So I'm gonna put a line right yonder. It moved a little bit, but it won't hurt nothing. And on this other side over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put that right underneath there like that. And I'm going to line it up on this edge over here. I mean, you have to be serious about this. Okay, I think that's within a thousandth or so, even less at some points. So I'm going to take that pencil, I'm going to run it down the side of that. Right down there to where it went together. Okay, I'm gonna move this. Now y'all see it, there's 2 lines. Okay, this lock, when I come over here like that, that's the line. I'm gonna teach you something here. Pencil this in on that blank page. So that line is the one on this side, and then when I put over here, it's the line that's on that side. So that means the center of them 2 lines is how much this piece of metal is than 4 inches. So, and going across this way is pretty much within it's right on it. So the only thing we have to do now is when we get the point of this drill bit right here, right in the square on that little box that's been formed there, kinda, in real life. So we'll loosen everything up. And come over and this is the beauty of a manual machine. You know, you can move it on the fly like that if you want to. But if you get down there, if you position that drill bit down there close to your piece of metal, you can pretty well eyesight it good enough for most cases, as is here. you know, it's the tallest in there, just said pretty close. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna go with that right there. I'm gonna lock it. I'm gonna lock everything down before anything moves. See, I have to drill 10 of these. So, and the measurement this way needs to be quite accurate. But where this drill bit made contact with that is, I done already locked it down, but I'm gonna verify it. And then I'm gonna drill the hole, cause and at this point, with the table all locked in all positions, then I've established this point right here will be there at all times. I can release the back part, take this part out, put another part in, lined up right here, and all of them will be in relationship to each other, at least in one direction, compensating for the amount that this one is too long lengthwise, which when you assemble the parts, the matching part of this also runs in this same direction, so they can have a little bit of side play, like no more than a 16th or nothing like that, but some amount closeness, because you're at the end, you want to have a loose fit because you're going to have another plate on top of this, and there's no cushion between the two. It's just metal to metal contact with some oil between the two. Being mindful not to be drilling on down there through your vise. But you know, just run some digits by. Let's measure it. So if you measure from the edge of this hole right here over to the edge right here on this way, coming over this way, if you measure across through yonder, well, it's gonna be easy. It's 1 3/4 inches exactly to the line from here to the edge over here. If anything, it would be on the short side if it come into play. So let's measure from that edge over yonder, over this way, and see what we got on that other over. Well, you know, that's pretty good. I should turn that in for grade. For real. Because some of these, this is a grizzly-mill. And some of them gets a bad reputation. And I've had this mill drill here for a lot of years, and it has never failed me yet. It's gonna need a belt pretty soon. You know, I'll probably replace one of them link belts. Boy, they do cost a lot, but I'd really like to try one of them. I know I'm gonna need it pretty soon. But Even this thing right here, I'm gonna show you something. This caliper, well, it don't work. You can, I think it's a battery problem, but well, no matter what I mash, whichever button I press, see, I can't get nothing light up on it's a LED. See, it didn't cost hardly nothing. But I use it anyways. Because all I'm trying to do here is to put this hole in the center. So I don't care what the measurement is. I just want it in the center. So if I hook that right there, and I come down here and I run this other part up here to that, and I lock this in, I still ain't got no numbers up there. So sometimes when it warms up, when you get to using it, okay. See, I put it back. I tighten this up and I put it back in this hole. Y'all pay attention. And I moved it around a little bit to see what my tolerances was. Now I know how much play I have, whatever that amount is. And I come over here on this side. Oh man, look at that. It's exactly the same. Well, that's pretty cool. Oh, I should move that out of the way. Well, no. So, see, what I wanted to do is get that out here. Thinking, you know, I'll run that table out here and where I could get this straight up and down. But they're the same right here. They have the same amount of friction on each side. I'm really proud of that. It's the reason I make a point of it. But also on this other side over here, if we can get in here, you can do it over here too. Okay, just take my word for this here. It's pretty close. And on the back part back there, well, you know what? Everything's tight. I'm making a point of this because that's all we can do with this plate right here. We have like this is the second operation. First operation, cutting it off, and then it'll be deburred now. But now, look y'all, look at this. It's the same amount. And then if you come over here, what's the same amount? Let's square it, come around halfway and check it. Okay, that's a little snug right there. I'm not going to go on no further until I tell you that. And I may see what the problem is already. I'm going to go on the other side and see what it is. No, this side over here is also the same amount of snugness that this hole is. And you see that I'm making a point of this because, you know, I don't care what kind of, oh yeah, it's, if I had some numbers on here, I'd be telling them to you, but it's the same, regardless of what the number is the point I'm making, that I would turn this right here into, if I was coming to your school, listen up. Okay. If I was coming to your school to, you know, your machines and stuff, you know, maybe how to operate them, or metalworking in general. Now, this ain't been deburred or nothing, but considering the hole on its own without any prep work, if you could, oh yeah, you might be able to see that. That may be the best hole I ever drilled. Man, I should get a close-up on that. Okay, see that hole got a little ragged right there. Not too much, But I use a lot of oil on that drill bit. I've been using it for a long time. It's still good. But I'll need another one pretty soon. But yeah, I would turn this in for grade. Now, I shouldn't be running off at the mouth here like this. Because I have a dozen of these to do. I have 12 more. Actually, I don't. I have 7 more. It's a production run of 8. So I'm gonna get on with it. Yeah, close enough, I'd say. Let's get on with this project.